Of all the devices Xiaomi released for the Note 14 series, the Redmi Note 14 Pro is by far the most surprising. Not because it doesn't look good or that it's not an okay device, but MediaTek Helio G100, and for that price, it's questionable. Also, this region is still stuck with the 4G version. So, the Redmi Note 14 Pro is here. It has actually been with me for a while. Don't know why I've been so lazy this year, but let's get on with it. On appearance, the Note 14 Pro looks a really solid device, and it's not much different from its predecessor except on design and I guess build quality. And one thing I can say for certain is that it looks better than the Note 13 Pro from last year. Well, that's probably debatable, especially if you prefer flat screen devices. The Redmi Note 14 Pro is a $250 mid-range phone that looks and feels premium for the most part. In Nigeria, it is priced just over $400k for the base version, which has 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, which you have the option to expand by SD card as long as you don't mind using one SIM card. There's an option with 12GB of RAM and twice the storage that costs more, but I think you'll be just fine with the 8GB version. For this price, the fact that it lacks 5G makes it not the best option, but I guess 5G is not a deal breaker for most people. Straight to the unboxing experience, you can expect nothing new. It's the typical Redmi unboxing with all your essential accessories present. We're still thankful that Xiaomi has not removed the charging brick like some other brands. Speaking of charging, there is a downgrade here. It's a 45 watts charging brick, slower than the 67 watts from the Redmi Note 13 Pro. They thankfully still kept the headphone jack. The build quality of the Redmi Note 14 Pro has seen a major upgrade compared to its predecessor thanks to the use of Gorilla Glass Victus 2 for its display. Now, it is one of the tougher phones around its price. The back and the frame have plastic build. The IP rating is improved to IP64. It is still not suitable for submersion, but the dust resistance has been improved. The design sees a significant change when compared to previous generation Redmi phones. They have opted for a curved build as opposed to the flat build we saw with the last two generations. The cameras have also been repositioned and centered at the top. It looks more like the Pro Plus version. Now, if you're wondering what separates this from the Note 14 Pro Plus, well, that's a significantly better device in all ramifications thanks to the more powerful Snapdragon 7S Gen 3 processor. Now, as for how it compares to the base Redmi Note 14, while it has a similar processor, the build quality is much better here, so are the cameras, and then there's the obvious curved display. So, one thing I've recently discovered is Wondershare's Filmora 14, which can help you transform your podcast to video. Now, let's say you're a video editor or a creator and you have a podcast which you know can be less engaging without the right visuals. Filmora has AI tools that can transform that audio to video. Or maybe not even a podcast, but you have a story to tell or an idea, but you're not sure how to bring it to life with a video. Recording the audio and using Filmora 14, you can generate the right visuals to bring that idea to life and capture new audience. Take for example this video I created. Technology has gone so far. Can you imagine back in the day when we used button phones or phones without an internet connection or those old style telephones? But right now we have triple folding phones, transparent laptops and TVs, and there's surely more to come. With Filmora, you can choose from 10 customizable AI styles to create the content that perfectly fits your brand, and you can choose the right format for your specific platform. This is a cheat code for content creators and editors. There are currently no video editing softwares that offer a feature as powerful as automated audio to video conversions. And mind you, Filmora is a proper video editing software you can use to make powerful edits to your videos. Download Wondershare Filmora and transform your podcast with dynamic video content. Now back to the Redmi Note 14 Pro. We see Redmi introduce a curved display. It's the same vibrant AMOLED 1080p that we're used to, just curved this time. That certainly changes the user experience. It looks and feels premium except if you prefer flat displays. It's a bright display with up to 1800 nits in peak brightness. The fingerprint sensor remains on the display and it has no problems unlocking the device when needed. As mentioned earlier, it's got Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. That is flagship build quality. The refresh rate is the standard 120Hz and it ensures that smooth experience scrolling through the UI. Speaking of UI, the software is Xiaomi's HyperOS version 1. The software experience has been great so far except for a few occasional lags, especially when the phone has been left idle for a while. There's also a lot of pocket dialing I experienced, probably due to a finicky proximity sensor. This causes the phone to heat up and sometimes randomly dial numbers while in your pocket. Now, hopefully this is something a software update can fix. If you have a Note 14 Pro and you experience this issue, let us know in the comments. The number of OS upgrades should be 4, and I think a total of 6 years of support if we are to go by what Xiaomi recently announced for the base Note 14. The timeliness of those updates though is what we'll need to worry about. It's almost March and we are still on Android 14 and the old HyperOS version. I think the Redmi Note 13 is currently on Android 15 and HyperOS 2. Although I've seen some complaints that it's not the most stable update, so probably they are taking their time. Just keep in mind that the updates will come. It might just take some time. It is not a Redmi phone if it doesn't have ads and a ton of bloatware. That remains true. This time around, the bloatware can be a lot worse if you are the type that rushes through your setup without paying attention. There's a ton of apps you need to untick when setting up the device for the first time. And spoiler alert, even if you untick them all, you still find a couple of bloatware apps pre-installed. I believe right now Redmi phones serve the most bloatware and ads, and it's not even exaggerated. With most phones, you can deal with the ads by just disabling the apps responsible or restricting notifications access. Well, Redmi can serve you ads when you are changing your wallpaper. You need a bit more knowledge to be able to get rid of those. Now, maybe I'm the only one this bothers. Anyone? Moving on, the Redmi Note 14 Pro has a couple of AI tricks up its sleeves. Aside the presence of Gemini, which is accessible to most phones, in the Gallery app, there are features like Object Eraser, which needs no introduction. Then there is the Image Expansion feature, which uses generative AI to add more information to an image. There is also the Enhance feature, which can help improve the quality or resolution of a photo. But there's a catch with these AI features. None of the ones in the Gallery app will work if you are not signed into a Xiaomi account. I wonder why. Let's move on to how it performs on day-to-day use. The Redmi Note 14 Pro is an okay mid-range phone that will satisfy the use case of the average consumer for the most part. They probably don't know or care much about processors as long as the phone does what it needs to do when they need it to. But we'll talk about the processor performance anyway. So, Xiaomi opted for the new MediaTek Helio G100, which can be considered an improvement from the G99 on its predecessor. Now, it's a good processor and is perfectly capable of handling most of what you will throw at this phone. But the problem is, at this price point, we deserve better. The G100 can be found on $150 phones. That puts this phone on the same performance level as more affordable phones, but you are paying significantly more. Redmi used to be the brand that offers the most value for its price when it comes to specifications compared to other brands, but I feel like with the Note 14 Pro, they sort of missed the mark. Granted, compared to a typical $150 phone, it will have much better cameras and a more premium build, but the processor, while okay, will hold it back when it comes to things like 4K video recording or proper gaming for those that fancy gaming on their smartphones. For context, at this price point, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A25 and potentially the A26. While those might not have the premium look of this, they offer way better performance with their processor and 5G. But let's keep the focus on the Note 14 Pro. As I said before, these things might not matter to the average consumer, which are actually the majority and I guess the target audience. In its gaming performance, for a phone at this price point, it is lacking. Don't get me wrong, it can game and you won't have any heating concerns, but you can only play your favorite games on medium graphics. Basically the same performance you can expect from a more affordable phone. So if you're picking this one up and you plan to game a lot, manage your expectations. The 5G version, which we did not get in this region, is powered by a Dimensity 7300. I believe it should excel in some areas where the Note 14 Pro lacks, like 4K video recording, although from the rear cameras, and better gaming performance. But you get what you get. On battery, we see an upgraded 5500 mAh. The battery life is great and I have no complaints here. On the cameras, the Redmi Note 14 Pro carries the exact same configuration as last year's device, except on the selfie camera where we see an upgraded 32 megapixels. The primary camera captures decent photos with good color. Even with human subjects, the processing is good, especially with portraits. The ultra-wide camera does okay, but it can be better. The selfie camera is impressive at times, but it's not consistent. Sometimes it just lacks contrast and the result can be hit or miss. On video performance, while the Note 14 Pro shoots okay videos at 1080p, I've seen similarly priced devices do better and at 4K. The most you can get here is 1080p 60, and that is from the rear camera. So one of the limitations of Redmi phones in general is the lack of 4K recording from its selfie camera, especially the selfie camera. And in this case, this is the Redmi Note 14 Pro. I mean, the quality looks okay for 1080p 30 fps, which is the maximum from the selfie camera, but you can't even do 4K from the rear cameras either. You can do that from the 5G version, but the 4G version does not have that ability, and I think it's limited by the processor because MediaTek Helio G100 cannot do 4K. I think I do maximum 2K, but I think only Transsion phones take advantage of that. So the most you get here is 1080p 60 FPS. I guess the quality looks okay. So what do you guys think? You could say the Redmi Note 14 Pro is okay for the average user who wants a good looking device with solid build quality, great display for media consumption. Stereo speakers also sound great, but for the enthusiast and well informed, it has significant compromises. It is held back by a processor which is better suited to lower end devices in my opinion. The final decision though comes to you. After watching this review, would you say the Note 14 Pro has enough to satisfy your use case, or would you consider other options? That's all from me. Peace out.